Hey, how's it going? Cameron here, and today I thought I would interview my good friend Arnold Patent. Arnold's an author. He's written a book called You Can Have It All, a simple guide to living a joyful and abundant life. Arnold's a true blessing in my life and continues to be every day. Very grateful that I met him. I'll explain how we met in a bit, and I'll let Arnold give his backstory as well. But his book sold quite a few copies. It landed him on Oprah twice back in the day as well. And Arnold's just a fantastic man. And he traveled the country for 20 years talking about his universal principles and sharing these, which are fantastic. And we'll cover those a little bit as well. And what Arnold is now doing, he coaches people through kind of living these universal principles on default by releasing what he calls the family story. So we're going to dive into all of this today. So thank you for coming on, Arnold. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Well, what I've come up with after many years of doing seminars all over, written 7 books and so on, exploring lots of different things, but they were all time related. When I wrote a book, it was where the consciousness and the interest was at that time. And now, or very recently, something has come to me that I see as extraordinarily valuable. And that is what I call the family story.
Sure.
Everybody has a family story.
Sorry, Arnold.
A family story.
Well, I know you're keen to crack into the family story, and we'll do that. We'll get there. What I'd like to do first is kind of give people a little bit of background on who you are and so they can kind of know you and know your journey, because the immediate thing when people jump on this and are watching this, right, it's like, here I am, I'm 20 years old, right? And here you are, you're not that much older, slightly older, but you're maybe on the other end of this, you're 89 years old, right? And it's kind of like, how do we come to know each other? And, from someone who's had so much rich life experience as you, what has been your journey? So could you quickly sum up, your experiences up to now that led you to realizing, this family story, and then we can jump into it.
Okay. Well, over the years, as my focus kept changing, I was led through a series of experiences. It began with sharing what I call universal principles, and people love to hear them. And so at first I was invited into people's living rooms so they could have their friends listen. And then it grew to weekend seminars. And one of the early seminars I gave was to a group of women in Manhattan. And one of them was a feature writer for a national magazine. So she found the information and the experience of the weekend so valuable that she asked her editor publisher if she could do a feature story on me for the magazine. Well, he okayed it, and then she traveled to several cities with me to attend various weekend seminars and interviewed the people and so on. So then she had the material for the piece in the magazine that she was looking for. And then I get a call from the editor publisher. He would like some of my material in the centerfold, exercises that I had and so on. And I gave him that. So that was the centerfold. So I'm the feature story and the centerfold. And then I was based in New York, and the magazine was based in San Francisco. I had to go to LA, so he arranged to fly down and meet me. So we talked, and he was an amateur photographer. So he took a lot of pictures of me. So one day I get a call from him. Well, you're going to love your picture on the cover of the magazine. I said, wait a minute. I said, do you know what you're doing, Jim? I'm a total unknown. The person who was on the cover before me was the Assistant Attorney General of the United Nations. Okay, his name slipped me. So Jim said, trust me, okay? So then his wife, a famous psychiatrist, and she was coming to a conference in New York. So I met him at the hotel she was staying at, and after we chatted a while, he handed me an envelope, and he said, read this when you get a chance. So I opened the envelope, and it was the editorial for the edition, and it was all about me.
Yeah.
So on the feature story, centerfold, the editorial, and then the back was the advertisement to subscribe, which had my picture in the small form.
Yeah.
It was hard to turn any place in the magazine without finding me. Okay.
Yeah.
And so he ended up putting me on the cover, and so I didn't see all of this until we both went to a conference somewhere out west, and I arrived early and he did. He came in around 9 o'clock at night, and he said, did you see the magazine? I said, no. He had mailed it to different cities, but it got there after I left. So it's 9 o'clock at night. He opens his briefcase, puts the headlights on in the car, and holds the magazine, the cover of the magazine in front. And there is my picture covering the whole cover of the magazine, and in the design of Time magazine. That was I said to Jim, do not show this magazine to anybody as long as I'm at the conference. I couldn't handle it, okay? This was too much. And what he put down in the corner, right corner, was the world's first universal lawyer.
Nice.
Well, okay, the magazine gets out. Now I get invitations from all over the country, including overseas, to come and present. So for 18 years, I presented all over, including 5 times in your beloved country, England.
Yeah.
So that's sort of a bit of the backstory. And after all of these experiences I had with people, and I set up little support groups out of the seminars to have people help each other practice the principles. But I realized over the years that didn't work. And I was searching for, well, what's keeping it from working? And that's when I came up with what I call the family story.
Got it.
See,
So yeah, okay, go on. So I was gonna ask, like, to someone who hadn't heard it before, how would you explain the family story? But it sounds like you're gonna jump straight into that. So okay, let's go.
You want me to explain it now?
Yes, please. Yeah, thank you.
All right. So the family story is how your parents related to each other. And that became the programming for the children. How their parents behaved was the model, see? And so the children took on that model and continued it. And there were some instances where the relationship between the parents was very loving and supportive overall, and that was fine. But generally, it wasn't that great, see? So a lot of programming with a lot of limitations in it got passed on to the children. And what I came up with was a system how to release that energy so the child is now free of that programming and can move forward in his or her life. And what happens is once they're free of it, amazing things happen. The people uniformly recognized they had so much more capability than that they were aware of.
Mm.
And all kinds of new possibilities open for them.
Mm.
So this was something major that I had come to. And now with a number of people through the process, and you're one of them, we know what the benefits are and how it works essentially. So that's pretty much it up till now.
Yeah. Okay. So with all your years of experience, okay, so I'll give a quick backstory, right? So I found Arnold through someone I know called Paul Chek. Paul Chek is, a holistic health practitioner. Some of you may know him. He's kind of blowing up at the moment. And Paul used to, for years, right? And Paul's someone I highly respect. And Paul daily, every morning, used to read some of your universal principles, okay? So I was like, immediately, oh, okay, right. And I went and checked out the principles, and then I was on your website, I checked out the family story bit, and then I got in touch and we ended up working together. Now, the reason I say this is because, Paul read these daily for years. They've been incredibly helpful, obviously, from, what you've told us about them and, your multiple, best-selling books, 7 books. You've had lots of hype around them for 18 years. Now, you're saying that this is on a completely different level. Why is that? Like, why is it so key? Why is the family story so key, and what makes it so much better than the universal principles or anything else, really?
Well, the principles are general guidance for life, okay?
Mm.
And they work if you can use them. The practical aspect of it is, with the family story in place,
Yeah.
it's virtually impossible to follow the principles, see?
Uh-huh.
So as a practical matter, and I'm a practical person, to figure, well, all right, if you want people to benefit from the universal principles, then free them from what's restricting them.
Yeah, exactly. So it's funny.
There's one other thing I have to add.
Absolutely.
I don't advertise and
Yeah.
I don't promote. Never did.
Yeah, exactly.
People who are ready find me, like you did.
Mm.
It's sort of an intuitive sense. You gravitate towards, say, my website, and you find, oh, this resonates with me, and then send me an email and we connect. That's how I've always done it.
Yeah. Even from back in the day, right? Like, you never put out ads saying, oh, hey, come to my seminar. You just it was always by invitation. and it kind of happened of itself. It wanted to happen, as you told.
Well, see, when people learned about me and what I had to offer, there was an interest in it locally. But then when I got into the magazine, that was
Yeah.
national, then the invitations came from all over.
Uh-huh. So one bit I want to go back to, because you said, like, I'm a practical guy, right? And that's like, I know that to be true, but for someone who kind of like is hearing all this like belief stuff and the family story, and then like if they've seen your universal principles, like one of them is energy, or beliefs, oneness, feelings, mutual support, the mirror principle, non-judgment. These are all like practical things, but it sounds to the average person in our society today, it sounds a little bit more woo-woo, as they'd say, right? Most people are more focused on like the actions, acquiring more information, and the more quote unquote practical side, getting things done, making things happen. So what would you say to someone in that position who perhaps isn't experiencing the results that they thought they would through that focus on kind of the external, the surface level?
Okay. All right. Let me explain what you're asking.
Mm.
With the family story in place, it's like a screen.
Mm.
It's whatever comes through to the person goes through this screen, or like in this tunnel. See?
Mm.
And so while it seems to the person that they can be objective and they can hear it and understand it clearly, they don't.
Mm.
Because it goes through the family story.
It's like a filter, right?
The family story interprets it.
Yeah. Got it.
Interpretation has a lot of limitation in it.
Mm. Okay. So once we...
There's a big difference between a person's perception of something, how it really is.
Mm. Yeah. So the key then is to release what's holding us back, and then we can kind of by almost on default, right? Still you got to have awareness and direct things, and be aware of your actions and take responsibility, but it's everything becomes easier and simpler, right? So okay, is there anything else you'd like to add on the family story, or anything else? We'll touch on your website in a moment, but anything else for now?
Well, I think we covered the general aspects of it. Yes.
Yeah. So I'll just give a quick heads up on this as well. So but when I started working with Arnold, I was completely broke, right? I thought I was very happy. I was a very positive person. People were like, oh yeah, Cameron, he's great, very positive, goes out, takes action, does all the right things, everyone like thought, oh yeah, he's going to be successful. But it wasn't reflected, right? Sometimes we think it's delusional, right? Because it's the family story. It's through that filter. It's delusional because sometimes we think, oh, I'm going to, I know this is going to happen. I know this is going to be successful. But then when you look at your current situation now, you're not, and you haven't been for a long time. There's like not much improvement, right? So my bank account had been at zero for months. Not the bank account is the only aspect, but that was like a that's a representation we can look at physically, right? And for example, my social life, I hadn't really seen my friends for a while as well. So I was at this rock bottom and had been for a while, and we think that it's going to be okay. But then if you look at the results you're actually getting over time, it's not working out, and maybe sometimes you get some temporary results, but you're still not feeling on the inside the way that you thought it would make you feel, right? When I started working with Arnold, he helped me to see things differently. And then through kind of going through that and opening up and releasing that family story, within months, everything had changed. And, you know, like income shot through the roof. You know, just like general enthusiasm and happiness in life just like kind of went to the next level. And yeah, I'm just so blessed to have Arnold in my life and continue to work together. So thank you, Arnold. I really appreciate it. Where can people find out more about you? Would the best place be your website? That's kind of got everything on there, isn't it?
Yes, arnoldpatent.com.
Yeah, okay. That's nice and
The
easy.
website, and it gives a little introduction to the family story and some other, the universal principles are
Yeah.
there. And
Yeah. So that was the thing that kind of, like you said, it resonated with me, right? Like I started reading some of the principles every morning, and it felt good in here, right? So like for those of you who don't really know who haven't developed that intuitive sense yet, like if it feels good, like in your body, you're like, you know, you're getting a good feeling here, then, you know, that is a sign oftentimes that something's true, right? Or that you might want to pursue it. It seems, you know, intuitive, but sometimes common sense isn't common sense, right? So anyway, I would check out his universal principles, and I would also check out the family story stuff on his website, arnoldpatent.com. I'll put the link down in the description below so you can check that out. And Arnold, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. And yeah, much love.
thank you for the time that we shared together. Thank you.
Thank you, Arnold.